This is Aaron Dean's song, Heaven Please Rewind. I met Aaron at a show we did in Fort McMurray. If you don't know, Catalyst also has a production company behind it. Like, we own a bunch of, I don't know, speakers and mics and cables and crap. Actually, we own a lot of speakers and mics and cables and crap and lights. Lots of broken lights. Anyway, so generally what happens at a big festival is the headliner will come in around 11 or something like that. They're scheduled for 11. They come in, do an hour and a half sound check, whatever, and then your dayside program will start after that. Most of the bands, we do a line check and then we mix them on the fly. So you'll have a band like one of the openers or something. They'll come in, set up all their gear. We have the monitor guy quickly go through and make sure they have everything in their monitors, and then the front of house guy will be playing some sort of music in the background and then kind of get the mix roughed in through a set of headphones or whatever. Make sure he has all the elements. There isn't a sound guy in the world that can't figure out the sound within like 30 seconds of the song. So anyway, Aaron came in and he was one of the data side things. The opening act for that day ran really long for their sound check. They were all in-ears and stuff like that, so it was a lot. And then it's a festival patch, and a festival patch when you also have in-ears gets a little bit more complicated, and they had some click track elements and stuff like that, and they were having problems with everything. The in-ear system they had brought in was like a Behringer X32, and there was a bunch of things that were wrong in it, and the front of house guy was busy dealing with the front of house. Their patch list was different than the one we were given. That happens all the time. That's not a big deal. And what else was going on? I can't remember. It was, but anyway, they went along. Oh, I remember what it was. The stage roof was leaking, so the company that built the stage had to come in and fix that, and they just thought they had all day or something, but they had like ladders on our stage. So after the headliner went, we had the stage crew hold us up for like another hour and a half, taping up the roof of the stage and stuff. So after that was all done, we wanted to get our program underway. So Aaron, he just came on as a single with a guitar and voice, and his guitar didn't have a DI in it. So normally in that circumstance, you just have the guy stand on the thing, sing into a microphone and play the guitar, and don't worry too much about it. You don't have to put like this is the way he's used to playing. You don't really have to put a bunch of stuff back through the monitor. But on that day, I was running front of house, and my partner was running monitors, and he just gets into this kind of a cool mode where it has to be perfect. And he's used to mixing acoustic guitars with a microphone. He's used to mixing with one of our Rode NT5s, which is a stunning microphone for an acoustic guitar. For reasons passing understanding, those were stuck somewhere else in a different show. All we had was our Rode M5s, which we use for overheads and hi-hats and whatever. Those are great microphones for that. They're like $100 each though, so they're not really expensive microphones, but they are not an NT5. So he was mixing the acoustic into the monitor thinking he was on an NT5, and basically he was just chasing the mix the entire time Aaron was trying to sing, and I think it was distracting Aaron, and he had a line check. There wasn't really any crowd because it was a festival where people could go and walk around during the daytime and do other things. So you're playing to people, but they're not, being super attentive to what you're doing. So that's distracting for an artist. Basically the only person, his family and friends were out there, that kind of a thing. He has a pretty serious fan base in Fort McMurray, so there's 30 or 40 people from the fan base are out there. Then there's me at front of house, the radio guy Mike, and that kind of stuff. And then in the background around the entire site were people going and getting food and stuff. So Aaron didn't have an amazing set performance-wise, but because I was doing front of house. It was my first, and I've worked with him before. It was my first chance that I was like, you know what? These are really good songs. These are awesome songs, and he's got a cool kind of voice. It's like a real country voice, not like the new country. It's like an authentic country voice. So I thought, well, I'm gonna go up and apologize for the really late start, because the set got cut in half, and that nightmare, and the problem with the not having the right microphone for the guitar, and the fact that he didn't have basically the right guitar for a festival stage. We're not Sting. We don't have $3,000 Neumann microphones specifically for an acoustic guitar, and then 10 hours to sound check and make sure that it's perfect. We have what we have, and you have to be very, very careful when you're using microphones that like that, and you have a billion watt PA system 25 feet on each side. You're gonna have issues for sure. Anyway, so after the show, I was like, Aaron, you're really, really talented. You're really great. I have a recording studio. You should, let's record some of your stuff. It'd be fun. And he was like, yeah, sounds great, man. And we kind of kept in touch. He was recording in another place, and they were kind of dicking him around. And so he touched base with me again. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm still totally interested in all that. And then I didn't hear from him for 3 or 4 months. And then COVID hit. And we were like a month into COVID, and he texted me. It's like, I'm not doing anything right now. Are you doing anything? And I'm like, no, I'm just, we've switched over from doing all of the live shows to specifically working just on the project in the studio. We started a label, and I'd love to have you come in and record some stuff. Let's work together. And so he came down, and well, actually, he sent me a bunch of songs. And so this is part of our production style. We'll get a guitar player or whatever, he'll play us a riff or something like De Benedetta did. Here's like 30 seconds of a really cool riff I wrote. Can you turn this into a song? And then I take it and I turn it into like a full song and whatever. Aaron's stuff was already set up as a full song. So I took his ideas, and he always had the right tempo too. So I've got 12, I think, songs with Aaron right now, and all of them are like tempos like dead on perfect. So I didn't have to change the tempo either, more or less, because he didn't play to a click, he just played. So I got these cell phone recordings of him playing guitar. So we recut the guitars, restructured the song, added drums, added bass, set up 4 spaces for the leads and stuff. I put in some temporary leads just for color, and then we have Smokey Fennell come in and do, actually does it at his place because he has a studio as well. But I'll send him 0 beds, and he'll record over top of the stuff, and then he'll send me back his affected, clean DI kind of thing, and then the track with the way he was thinking of envisioning the mix. And he sends me all 3 stereo back, and then I just put it back into the song. So Smokey does our pedal steel, Smokey does our dobro. He's a ridiculous dobro player too. I don't know if anybody knows that, but if you want a dobro guy, Smokey's your man. And then for color, leads, and all other stuff, Ian Rossiter, of course. And then Ian also recut all of the acoustics that I laid in. Ian and I have an ongoing battle about my Variaxes, because Ian spends, I don't know, $80,000-$90,000 on guitar, and my one $4,000 Variax, probably takes out 80% of his collection. It's got all of the settings. Plus I have an E335 in my Variax, so sounds great too. So I have a Variax guitar, a Variax acoustic, and a Variax bass. Actually I have 3 Variax guitars. I really like them. They're really cool. If you're creating and writing in the studio, that's what you want. I was like, I wouldn't mind hearing what a freaking shitty banjo would look like on this, and you just turn on the Variax and play the banjo, and you're like, yeah, that's gonna sound stupid. So that's like our running joke. So Ian replaces all of my Variax stuff with all of his Tele stuff through the Kemper, and he has Laraves, a whole slew of Laraves, and then of course we use the NT5 to mic them, because they're in the background. You don't need like 9 mics to mic the guitar if it's just gonna be the background. So anyway, that was 10 minutes. Here is the song, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, so you could hear that I had my gospel choir in there, and I think there's a bunch of us singing in this particular one. And then the ending. If you ever go see an actual gospel choir in person, there's some pretty bad singers in those, and especially in the church I went to when I was a kid. There was one guy whose voice really stuck out. I'll never forget. I don't remember his name, but anyway. So, all right, I'm going to talk about this actual element. So this song is about a guy who loses his wife. So typically in a ballad, actually typically in almost any song, but any slower song or any ballad, there are two things you need. One, you absolutely have to create that warm flush in a person. If the person who's listening to the song doesn't get that warm flush, you missed, start again, you blew it. Second, you have to have something that people look forward to in a song. So they'll go to that part and then they'll rewind it and play it again, or they'll play the whole song through just because they liked waiting for that part. And when it finally came in, it's like, oh, there it is again. It gives them that sense of that repetitive feeling of warmth and happiness and excitement. They're waiting for that part in the song. So you need that in every song, but in ballads it's particularly important. In this song, we have the gospel stuff at the end, which is something that people would look forward to after they've heard it the first time. They'd be like, oh yeah, this is that song with a really cool gospel ending or whatever. And there's a really cool guitar element in this, a do thing that we put in. Lots of color stuff. Smokey's pedal steel is he nailed it on this one. He really got, and he's actually just ridiculously talented anyway. I've never sent anything back. Let's just put it that way. He writes the steel so I can put stuff in and take stuff out if it gets too busy, because he doesn't know what the full element of the song is going to be in the end. Like, he doesn't know what all the pieces are going to be completely. So he underwrites all of the steels, so it's if it's a hook thing, it needs to be in there, he leaves it in there, but otherwise he just lets it carry the song. It's like really a foundation type thing that he adds to the songs. This has a Hammond organ in it, a really nice V3 that we've got, a piano in this one. It's got all of the real drums, the big gospel choir, all 14 of us. So the song's about a guy who loses his wife. So we have Shimmer's vocals in the background through the song, and then we come to the middle of the song where he actually loses his wife. So in that section, and it's on the screen here, it says Shimmer middle. He sings the line, here, I'll just quickly play it for you guys. All right, so one of my favorite studio tricks is called dovetailing of reverb. So you have your main singer's line in, and you want the line to evolve into just verb. So you're adding verb in the automation, and here's the automation for my adding more and more lexicon into her vocals. And then this is her actual volume of her track where it comes fading off. So her vocal track here evolves completely into verb, which is a really cool thing. She's under mix because he's still singing the top line, but in the video you're gonna cut to the whatever dying chick in the bed or whatever, and you're gonna have her mouth this part. Now here's the cool part that I did with this. Originally, Shimmer had laid in her typical background vocals for the chorus that we're coming into. This is where the chick dies, so I pulled those out. Like, the chick is now gone out of the song, so he's carrying his chorus without the girl in the background. And I swear to God, nobody else noticed that except for Aaron. I was like, did you hear what I did in the chorus? And I started explaining to him. He's like, yeah, no, I heard that. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, how cool is it when your artist actually gets a production point that's so subtle like that, but it means so much? So this is I'm really proud of this. I love how this dovetails out to the verb. It's amazing sounding. It gives you a crazy warm flush when you come into this whole section. And this is like something you look forward to because you got this beautiful angelic voice and it suits Aaron really, really well. And it just disappears and fades away and then dies. And then the song kind of, he has like a turnaround here, he kind of gets back going, so I bring Shimmer back in, and then Shimmer's on the back end here, and then of course there's all the choral stuff, and then over top of that, when Shimmer was producing Aaron's vocals, they nailed the all the background, like his call and answer solo stuff at the end. It's super freaking cool. So I mean, this is a great vocal track from Aaron, and he can go way low, so he's got a great baritone. And it's just wonderful to hear. The bass on this one here looks like I probably cut that one. Might have been Rossiter. We have an ongoing argument about bass playing. Lots and lots and lots and lots of guitars. A couple color tracks by Rossiter. My original, nope, those are Ian's Larrabee acoustics. Mine are all shut off. And really, that's all there is to this song. But just that one particular element in there. And Aaron wrote the song himself. Aaron's starting next month possibly, and this is we're almost in September of COVID 2020. Next month, we're going to probably end up releasing this album. And up until that point, he's just been kind of like playing, coffee shops and stuff like that, and for his buddies and stuff, and not doing any real recording, and just writing. And every single thing he sent me has been really, really well crafted. And he's got 2 hits on this thing. This one here, actually, this is kind of funny. So this one, he came in, we had it all bedded, and then he lives south near Calgary, and we're in Edmonton, so that's 3 hours. He has to drive up 2.5 hours. So he drove up 2.5 hours on a Tuesday, and then on Thursday he was in Fort Mac, and a bunch of artists in Fort Mac were doing like kind of a campfire kind of a thing. This is when COVID just started kind of thing, so everybody was social distanced and they couldn't really do an actual show, so they just streamed this whole, one artist would sing a song and then another artist would sing a song and then da 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 da, and they had a panel of Fort Mac artists, and some were really good friends of mine, and Aaron, who's like a Fort Mac artist, but he's kind of one of those, he's so unassuming and quiet, and you would never know how unbelievably talented he is. But I love this story because I was watching the live stream, and Aaron was the last in the line of all of these people doing all of their songs. And one of the artists that was on there, like a couple of them were really great artists, like really, really great. And one is Dan Gillies, who's a ridiculous guitar player, And they've all got their thousands and thousands of dollars worth of, like $4,000 Gibsons and Guilds and all that kind of stuff. And it had gone around the whole thing. Everybody had played their song and talked about their projects and stuff like that. And it was Aaron's turn. And Aaron's just been kind of sitting there quietly. And, he very, very quietly answers a couple questions. Dan's kind of hosting the whole thing. And then he starts playing his song. And first thing you notice is, number one, his Martin sounds 1,000,000 times better than everybody else's guitars. Like 1,000,000 times better. I was listening to the stream in stereo and I'm like, oh my God, this guitar sounds sick. This is awesome. And then he started singing the song, and it's going to be on the album too. And I got really, really lucky because the other guys were kind of jamming along to it, right? So the camera kind of went wide. So we were watching Aaron play, and he's singing his song, and Aaron gets very quiet and deep into himself when he's writing and playing. So he's doing that, and the camera pans to everybody else, and everybody's like this. Like, they're all like, what the hell? And these are some of the best writers up in Fort Mac. These are phenomenal musicians, and I don't know, Aaron just absolutely took them to school with this song. It was an awesome song, and he did a great job singing it. And all of the guys, they got really excited and we're adding in all of these really cool licks over top of it. And I have a recording of it, so when I'm cutting the song this weekend, I'm gonna actually go back and I'm gonna listen to the stuff that Dan was putting in and one of the other guys, and kind of like see if I can't fit some of that stuff into it because it was so cool. But it was just one of those really, really unique moments where, as a guy who's just starting a record label and working with a guy, you're like, boy, did I pick the right horse. And here's the other thing too. So he drove up on the Tuesday, recorded the vocal line. Shimmer added her harmonies in there. I already had everything else in place because I gave the guys a demo version of the vocals, and we had to have that for the Thursday show. I wanted to have it on the radio in Fort Mac. So Tuesday we recorded it, Wednesday I mixed and mastered it, and Thursday it was on the radio, which was pretty cool. That's the fastest I've ever flipped a song to the radio. And Mike at the radio station up there, he would have kept the song in rotation, but he thought that we weren't releasing yet, so he kind of pulled it out of rotation. And I'm like, well, it would have been good if we had like a really, really fast song, because then people would have been like, hey, you got to put that back into rotation. We want to hear it all the time. And the only place they could hear it was on 91.3 in Fort Mac. So, but he pulled it off rotation, thinking that we weren't ready to release yet. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But it was, it was a fun day of sitting in my hot tub on the Thursday, getting ready to listen to that show. And Mike spun Aaron's tune probably, I don't know, 6 times or something like that. And I was listening to other friends of mine's songs that are on the radio, because Canada's kind of a country town. And so I have a lot of friends, artists and stuff, that are exceptional artists. The Dungarees were on rotation. Brett Kissel. I don't really know Brett Kissel very, very well, but one of my friends is a really good family friend of his I work with in Broadcast Rod. And their sound guy, Joel Bird, is probably one of the best sound guys in Canada. He's the sound guy is called. So Joel's a friend of mine. Gord Bamford was on rotation. Dean Brody, our other studio drummer, Lyle plays for Dean. He was in rotation. Aaron Goodvin was in rotation. He's awesome. I don't know if there's a bunch of artists that I've played with, or sorry, like whatever, done shows for, that were in rotation, and then Aaron's song comes up, and without missing a beat, it sounded awesome. It was a good day for me. I really enjoyed it, and a great day for Aaron, because basically it was a Tuesday, and then a Thursday he was on the radio, and then this Thursday night he was performing with all these guys, and you could tell by the time they went around, because they did the songs twice. So here's a song, and then you go back and start again, and everybody does a second song that talks about it. And of course Aaron's at the very, very end, so we kind of this person got like a full 5 or 7 minutes or 10 minutes, and then as it got closer, they realized they were kind of running low on time and stuff. So Aaron got kind of cut back a little bit, but you could tell the second time around, everybody was really, really excited for Aaron's second song, to see if like this was just one of those flukes where the first song was phenomenal and the second song he played was also phenomenal. So anyway, that's the production I do for country for Aaron. He's got, like I said, there's 12 songs. They are bedded with the guitars. We're gonna do all the guitars at once with Rossiter, because he brings in like 30 guitars at a time. So my whole studio becomes lousy with Larave's. Smokey's already cut most of the steel for the album. He's got 4 more I think he has to cut. And Aaron's got 3 more that he has to cut vocals on, and Shimmer has to do the vocals, harmonies and stuff on all of them except for this one. This one's done. And then I've got to do pianos, organs, and we are looking at a couple different drummers for this. My drums are fine, but there's a big difference between me playing drums and somebody like Brendan Lyons playing drums or something. We have another new guy too. We tried out for another artist, and we're gonna try him out because he's predominantly a jazz drummer, so he can do a shuffle pattern. And Aaron's got 2 shuffle songs in here, and I can't play a shuffle to save my life. I forget about it. So yeah, that was Aaron Dean. we're looking forward to releasing this album in September 2020.